As camera companies continue to flail their arms in an inflatable tube-like fashion, trying to compete with the lowly A7S III of 2020, a yonder year gift from the Santa gods. It's embarrassing to watch it. R5 II finally caught up. You know who else caught up? Sony just laughed at themselves with the Sony ZV-E1 that defeats and continues to defeat everything ever made. We got it. It's tiny. It hurts. That little thing. It hurt my hand.
All I want is the perfect camera. All I want is the perfect camera.
So today might decide on if I sell my Sony A7S III or not. Is the ZVE1 good enough? Because now that I switched to Nikon for wildlife, the only thing I needed on this was the viewfinder. No longer need that as a douche tube. Wait a second. Something's missing. I know I look like a douche in a living room, but I don't feel like one yet. Is this video now brought to us by Squarespace? Like and subscribe down below if you're new here. You bunch of clone sheep. So, is this good enough? First impressions. That grip. What is this? Sony, what are you doing here? Do it. This little thing? Like, oh god, that was on the bottom end. It's so painful. Why is that right on the grip? Canon indents it. Nikon's still doing a little thing. This is the worst of all. It's actually sharp. Immediately that dug into my hand. I was like, what the hell? But thankfully I'm a vlogger and I never need that. I would never actually hold it. It would be this. Subscribe to TikTok. You're a scrub. So I bought this with my own money. I saw an Amazon warehouse deal. It was like $21.50 Canadian plus tax. I was like, that's low enough I want to know now. It's like, okay, that's affordable. That's funny. If it's better than my A7S III, I sell that. I save money and I still have an even funnier camera to defeat your newer cameras. So it's like Canon R5 II. Yeah, I match that in this little tiny thing. Do you have active stay? We'll test all the tracking stuff, moving around. What I'm curious about though is the color science difference. Is it different than this? We'll get to that. We'll do a bunch of, right now we're in standard and I'll switch to standard and then we'll do log. It's fun, trust me. But first impressions so far, it's so tiny that it's funny. Like it's so light and cute that I almost want to buy that Sony 24mm 2.8 prime because it's like 180 grams or something. That on this, you're joking at that point. It'd be so light, it would be actually fun. Whereas most mirrorless are not fun to use. They're not. Why do you have the SD card on that side? That's gonna take some time to get used to. It's not like that on any other camera. It's usually in the grip, but okay, whatever. Maybe it's superior, but these little knobs things, they're good. They just come out and click back. Come down, click up. I kind of like that, although this mic one, that's a bitch. Kind of sticks right out there, but it clears the screen. Doesn't really block much. It protects you from the wind. Wind getting into the mic jack itself. That's a problem. But the screen has little indents that you would pinch on both. Oh god, why do I try this? That was good for you, trust me. I almost thought there was a deal-breaking flaw immediately. I've been used to this custom dial. It's super annoying. You gotta hold the thing to pinch it and then twist. This has no custom mode, but you can just program a button and then switch through them. But I was having a real hard time getting the slow motion because it was confusing me as hell. Like I couldn't save 240 frames per second to that, but now I can. I wouldn't say I love this on-off switch. It's in a familiar place, but it's a little sharp and weird. But zoom rocker now, that's actually a thing. I used it in the Canon V10 review. I zoomed in as I started the video with the clear image zoom and it was so cinematic, I couldn't believe it. Alright, let's switch to this same exact lens. We're on the Zeiss Batis 25mm22 in standard. I copied the identical settings. It should look basically identical with different upgraded color science. So maybe less greens in the face. Let's see. Is it different? Is it? Wow. Oh boy, I should read more books, not just magazines for toddlers. Is the color different? Because that's like the only thing you can say about Sony ever. They lead the industry in most specs and autofocus, speed, everything. But the colors, it comes back to that. People switch to black magic and shit because they're like, I'm done with you, Sony. Your FX3 filmmakers about your cat and your goat and how they get along with each other and sometimes don't. This grip is so much nicer. I never thought I would say that about an A7S III grip, but here we are. So standard, same, we're dynamic range level 5 for some reason. Did my shirt change from red to orange? Did that blue change a hint of something? Side by side, we're seeing it. Someone's better and someone's worse. We'll switch to logs soon and then test some of the fun things in here that my Sony A7S III flagship can't do. You updated this thing and it's literally better in a lot of ways. And now I have all those features of the modern Gen Z scrub who was raised on iPads instead of wolves, like my generation was. Things I will miss if I do end up taking this. That might overheat someday. I don't know. Will I ever experience it? I only ever do like 4K 120 for 10 seconds. So like it shouldn't ever overheat, but the custom buttons, like I'm so used to this. Now I have to set this up very differently. There's not as many buttons. It'll take time, but like technically, because you can have separate, it seems like you can have separate custom modes for regular and S and Q. So I could set up 4 different S and Qs with like aperture priority, manual, like it would take hours of upfront work, but once it's there, then easy switching. I no longer have to pinch that stupid dial. There's no exposure comp thing, there's no front wheel, there's a lot missing from that. But you're a YouTube scrub. Do you need any of it? I have a red light pointing at me. Does that affect the color science? Can you see it? Covered. Ah. Covered. Ah. I doubt it. I gotta be honest with you though, when this was announced, I was kind of like, really? What the hell, man? Like, I was a bit jealous. Like, you have my camera, smaller, lighter, with more features for much cheaper. Like, screw you, Sony, but eventually you bite the bullet and you buy the reptilian technology and you're fine. You're fine and happy. All right, let's go back to the A7S III in log and a different lens. Might as well do that. Okay, we're back on the Sony A7S III Zeiss 55mm 1.8. We're in S-Log 3. I'm gonna use the same LUT on both. Maybe just a simple color space transform. And the settings are gonna be the same. There's no color phase +2, all that stuff. We're at like default level sharpness all the way down. One thing I must praise Sony for is this simple box. It's a tiny box and it comes with like not much plastic. It seems like this camera was wrapped in like a paper thing. It just felt so environmentally friendly with it, not like toxic off-gassing plastic. Some cameras, like everything just comes with so many plastic wrappings for individual things. Like, what are we doing here? Is it just me, or since updating the firmware of the A7S III, whenever I start the camera, it's in manual focus. It just reverts to manual focus. I don't know what setting I have on that's doing that. It's annoying as hell that I have to press my button. I don't even have a button now on that ZV-1 E1. Your mom's E1 size bra. I bought her one once. It's quite surprising though, the amount of features in here that are missing from my A7S III, like all the AI technology, the algorithms for the autofocus. I probably have animal eye detect in here. Try to get some squirrel footage at some point. Just this mic is better. I'll never use it. That stupid little hat you have to put on it. It always sounds terrible. I don't know why people praise this mic. Lav mic for life. You get the dynamic active stab now, 30% crop, but we'll see if that's even worthy of our love. A lot to love in here. Let's switch back to it now. Same lens, log, colors exist. Why, hello to you. Welcome to color science, kindergarten. Is it Canon color science finally, or is it just worse Sony color science? I know Marcus Pix hated some of the new color science, so maybe we have that now and it's worse and greener or more magenta or something's bad. Something's worse. Is it? That's a bitch. We have missing now. I cannot do 48th of a shutter to match my 24p. It's 50. A7S has that over you. Up until this point, whenever a camera is released, I laugh that Sony 2020 technology is beating you, but then your comeback is, but look at the price. That's so much more expensive than this Z6 Mark II. But now your hobo ass, 2100 Canadian, like this is in the ballpark of any like APS-C setup. I think the new ZVE10 Mark II was close to this. It was like $18.99 brand new. This was used, obviously, so it's not even close to fair, but it's Amazon warranty, which they never honor. But unless you need a viewfinder, what on earth are you doing with an A7S III over a ZVE1? Why would you get the FX3 especially? That also doesn't have a viewfinder. You're just heavier. I need to record my entire wedding in 4K 120 and so it doesn't overheat. Okay, you have a place, or you're in a desert with Marcus Pix and you're chasing lizards and he's not eating them because he's vegan, but you would. And then you get the parasites. And let's switch to a different mode. Now, something I've noticed is that I am allowed now to go wherever I want in life, and I'm tracked continuously, effortlessly, slowly but smoothly. As I leave your life, you follow me. You try to get rid of me, but your mom can't shoo me away with her broom. I stay in your life because I'm tracked easily and smoothly. Rule of thirds, rule of once. Doesn't matter which rule you follow. We can all get along. It works, doesn't it? It's kind of handy, one might say. Now, when I tried this initially, I could see the entire screen, and now it's weird. I see a box in the screen. I hope it's still working the same as it was, but I don't know why it would. Not that I'm known for user error, but we're on the Zeiss Batis 18mm, Tony 2.8, just because it crops like crazy. This is the large crop. Let's try the medium. That's not even close to as fun. There's just a tiny crop. There's hardly anything happening. What if I came in? Do you zoom? You're not. You don't do it. Go large or go home. What's the point of that? Is it even doing anything? It seems like it crops like 10%. It's just a little bit of wiggle room. Go home. And now we're in small crop level, which does even less. I don't think it's even moving now. This is not even a feature anymore. The shutter, I feel like I have to half press it so far. It never actually does it. Usually I exit modes like that, and it's on the A7S III, it's very easy, but like I feel like I have to go so far. Am I clipping the audio the whole time? Oh God. Oh, I suck at this. Is it tracking me? Okay, let's go outside. Test it. You've seen me on the A7S III 100 times, so let's just do this, see what the dynamic stab is like. Color science outside. Dare we dream it. Oh, little Sony. You're so cute. Oh, so I've had a chance to look over the footage, and I'm noticing there's definitely a different color science. I wouldn't say it's better. It could be worse. I don't know what I'm even seeing. I need your opinion. Someone smart down there with a calibrated monitor. What are you seeing? Not just any jabroni. It was so green, I threw up. You didn't throw up, but the color science is definitely bluer. The blacks aren't as red. That's what I hated about the A7S III. It was like yellow skin red hair. I don't know what kind of Teletubby that was, but it's different. It is different. And it could be better. And it's so much lighter that it's just hilarious. This is with the Zeiss Batis 18mm Tony 2.8. I did not bring an ND or even a glimmer glass. What was I thinking? Oh, God. We're just an active stabe. 852 grams. It's so light for full frame. Freaking ridic. I've tested a lot of vlogging setups in my day, and I've always thought the sweet spot was roughly around the 800 gram mark. If you could get yourself there, it's like super light and actually fun. And some cameras are even lower, like the ZVE1 too, with the 11mm 1.8 would be even more fun than this with half the specs. You suck. All right, I just realized I did not bring a spare battery. I was gonna make like 2 more videos. Maybe I can, we'll see. Battery life's pretty good in here. So I just wanna see dynamic stabe. What is the difference? We're in active right now. Let us switch. Oh, wow. Oh, look at you. You cropped on in there. Do you hear a difference in the sound as well? 2-for-1 test over here. So dynamic stabe, does it work with Zeiss lenses? Probably not. Just be careful now. We're also on the in-camera mic with a little fluffy hat. And it's a front-facing thing. That guy almost killed me. It was a woman. But you couldn't hear her, right? Is it better if you were in here? Here's a streetcar, but it's just me talking. I'm the important one, not the streetcar. Don't hear that. It's a front-facing only thing. Bullshit. It's on top. How's it facing front? It's a bit of a crop, but if it's stable as hell, I don't mind you. I was gonna test a bunch of the bullshit cinematic modes and the color science, but we'll do that in the next video. I think I'll do a Q&A on the way. So next video you'll see that. And what did that do? The only thing that makes me want to not sell the A7S III is I still have that 90mm macro. That's fun for wildlife, and I always use that viewfinder. I don't know that I could do that on this. So that's one deal-breaking flaw. My thought was to bring the Nikon Z6 III with the 600mm and the A7S III with the 90mm one day. And going and I'm switching, and that's like the ultimate universe. Like, oh, look at that far away, and then a bird. I mean a bee or an insect. Imagine that episode. So I don't know, man, it's pretty tough to beat that for the weight, for vlogging. This might even destroy the Pocket 3. Wow, it's like as light. Not really, but that 24mm Sony would be even funnier. I don't think I could use the dynamic stabe crop, but wow, not bad. I like it. So I will leave now. Thank you for donating your Bitcoins and subscribing for more videos like this.